I was fighting Giganto as usual while using the Supersonic 2 mod when I pressed down the D button on my D-pad, and strangely enough, Sonic turned back to Sonic. I was quite surprised as I didn't expect the mod to work during the Titan fights, so I asked myself the question, can you beat Giganto without using Supersonic with the extra limitation of not being able to upgrade stats? Well, let's find out. The planning was actually pretty simple. I figured that Sonic would still be able to use his moveset, so I set him objective to collect as many skill points as possible. Sidelooping would help by doubling my damage down to Giganto, so we had to at least unlock Quick Sideloop. Everything else was unimportant, as I'd skip all of Chronos, so I started a new file with easy and high speed. 1-1 wasn't really important as we don't actually need it to beat the island, but if you must know, I got 2 Vault Keys. I wanted to immediately fly as Supersonic to the open zone, but doing that would not allow me to unlock my skill tree, so I slowly killed Ninja, and after collecting Psyloop, I maxed out my rings and flew away. I just want to go and fight enemies and break barrels for XP. After doing a whole lot of this, I ended up with about 34 levels or so, but I didn't stop there. Starfall never happens on Chronos unless you come back to it, so I just collected as many purple coins I found and went fishing. Now, Chronos fishing isn't as broken as something like Chaos or Rhinos, but I was able to increase my skill level quite much to about 50, which sounds like a lot, but after unlocking Phantom Rush, Skill Tricking, Sonic Boom, and Stomp, I only had enough to get Quick Psyloop. I really wanted Homing Shot, but I wasn't about to chain tricks for 55 minutes to get the rest of the skill tree. With that said, I flew over to Giganto. This took a total of 20 minutes. I went into the fight expecting it to be 30 minutes, give or take. Keep in mind, this recording file is more than 7 gigabytes. In other words, it was 2 hours long. So, firstly, as soon as you turn back to Sonic, when being Supersonic in the fight, Sonic drops like a rock. So we need to transform into Supersonic to shoot ourselves back into the air, then get hit by Giganto. Doing this gets you on a plane of sorts where you can't fall down. The basic combo attack doesn't start a combo, but for whatever reason, it just hits once, and there's weird delay to each one. The strongest move is the Wild Rush, but this isn't supposed to play out like this. Sometimes the Wild Rush just won't reach. Sometimes even the homing attack just ends. The Stomp is also a powerful move, but sometimes it misses the mark and you have to fall to the ground all the way, forcing you to go super and get hit anyway. And speaking of getting hit, for whatever reason, you actually lose rings after getting hit by Giganto. Yes, you lose rings. Even the lasers in phase 2 make you lose rings, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. Here's how you beat phase 1. Continuously stomp him until you gain your Psyloop. This is the end of Giganto, fortunately. If you loop these moves, Giganto will never be able to even hit you again. Quick Psyloop him, then spam Sonic Boom until he goes down. Once he's down, quick Psyloop him again, and then spam Sonic Boom again. Then once you reach about 200 combos, stomp him twice, and you should have a full Psyloop meter. So that's it. Quick Psyloop, Sonic Boom, Quick Psyloop, Sonic Boom, stomp, and repeat. But oh freaking wait! There's another problem! Despite the fact that this is literally Sonic, and despite the fact that repeating the phase 1 loop is really annoying and I was using controller, so the joystick cramp set in, somehow you lose your rings as if you're Supersonic. You're losing 30 rings per Giganto hit, and you're doing piss poor damage, and you're also losing rings by not being Supersonic. So if you just power through like that, you will run out of rings and die. So how do you recollect rings? Well, if you go to the outskirts of the arena and stomp, you can go down and side loop for rings. You will then need to turn to Supersonic and get hit again. So after 4 or 5 loops, you should go back and collect rings. This phase 1 isn't a problem, but phase 2 in phase 2. Anyway, I'm not going to say this was easy and short. It's just that it was repetitive, so there's nothing really here to put. So after doing this for forever, phase 2 starts, and boy, phase 2. Look, phase 1 was bad enough. Spamming Sonic Boom was extremely boring and not as fun as I expected, but that doesn't mean I wanted my main method of attacks gone. Phase 2 Giganto now will swipe at you after you quick Psyloop it. Now this is not a problem, but where it starts being bad is that if you don't parry, you get hit. Lose 30 rings and Giganto goes down. And if you do, this weird thing happens where Sonic rolls into a ball and can't move until he suddenly stops, hold his parry for like half a second, then drops like a rock. At first, I thought it would be good to do a double quick side loop so that Giganto would hit the ground. Before you can even hit him, he gets up and hits you. So since quick side loop was gone, not only do you have to deal with Giganto doing all his attacks, you also need to deal with his lasers. Now granted, sometimes it is useful. Getting hit by a laser right before Giganto does a spin attack helps save time and rings, rings because the lasers only take one ring away from you. But other than that, they are straight up nuances. So phase 2 gets 10 times harder. And since you get hit a whole lot more now, you need rings a whole lot more. So you go and recollect rings and this truly is the most annoying part of phase 2. If you try to recollect rings, Giganto will shoot multiple lasers and they all home on you. Something you can do is stomp onto the ground, and if you stay close enough to Giganto's feet, he won't shoot at you. But the problem with that is, well, this. Oh, and I'm not done yapping yet. Sometimes you won't even be able to stomp sometimes, and you have to do this weird dodge roll thing where after the second dodge, Sonic just rolls into oblivion. Now, let's say you have less than 100 rings. You're worried and you stomp on the outskirts to stomp. But just as you do, Giganto hits you. Turns out you're in front of the mountain with the border, which you use to get into the arena in the first place. And if Sonic hits that border, you get the "you strayed from the past, turn back, complete your mission" message, and you're stuck. Now, this didn't happen to me during gameplay of this time I did it, but the last time I did it, this happened to me during the last bits of the second phase, and if you're on his last health and you mess up, you are stuck and you will die. Starting the fight all over again. It's ridiculous. Now, how do you beat this phase? At first, I was just whacking him with all I got, doing that until I passed the eye in Giganto. Yes, I was measuring like that. But when I quick side looped him and mashed almost every button, I somehow avoided Giganto and was able to do a lot of damage to him. Well, not a lot, but you get the premise. So I figured you needed to stomp then jump, and I did this again and again and again. I used over 800 rings to try and replicate this. This isn't a joke. I was so desperate to do more damage that I had to figure out how to dodge the attack. And after all that, I found a way. Turns out, when you quick side loop Giganto and he starts his animation, hold period for as short as possible, and then when the hand is a bit close to you, press the jump button. This is extremely janky and difficult to consistently pull off, but you can bet I did this for the rest of the fight. So you can beat the second phase by quick side looping Giganto, holding parry as soon as possible, and then jumping, then spamming Sonic Boom. Rinse and repeat. This helps with the lasers and Giganto's attacks. Is it tedious? Yes. Is it heartbreaking if you mess up? Definitely not. Some tips I have for the fight is that if you clip through the ground, stomp jump immediately, then turn to Supersonic, then go down and come back up through the water in the center of the arena grounds. So after more than 2 hours of fighting Giganto, I finally did it. I'm not doing this again. Come on. Come on. Die. This is it. I'm not refilling my rings. I'm not doing anything. This is it. This is it. This is it. This is it. I'm not doing this again. Look. Oh my good, yo, I'm never playing this game ever again. This game is trash, bro. So, can you beat Giganto without using Supersonic? Well, I don't know, you may have a skill issue or be understandably impatient, but can I beat Giganto without using Supersonic? Yes and no. No, because I have to use him to get up to level, but I can't fight Giganto without using Supersonic. But whatever, it's a yes in my book. How's about that snack pigeon with a 1 and a 0? Who's the king of frontiers now? Yeah, it's definitely on me. I don't even have the spin dash. Oh, hey, this is an extra part. I'm sorry that this video is, like, short as it is. It wasn't originally meant to be like this. Originally, I was meant to make a video on the Sonic OVA, but I scrapped it pretty late, and I didn't want to do it anymore. Then I realized that I still had to make a, I still had to make a, I still have to make another video by the end of the last week's zone because I'm trying to do a weekly upload schedule basis. So yeah, I realized that I still had to do that, and I didn't have that much time to do it because I was stalling and I was impatient. I was just tired. So yeah, the Sonic OVA is a good movie. That's all I'm gonna say here. But that's the reason why this video isn't as long as, you know, the other one. So I'm sorry about that. Anyway, I hope you guys have a good day or night wherever you are.